Hey church, unfortunately we're back in another season of lockdown for at least the next couple of weeks, and Larry and Josh and I were just chatting about how we as a pastoral team can be supporting you guys, and the idea of making more of these videos came up. So here I am, and I'm really excited to share some thoughts and things that God's been talking to me about with you guys. So the first thing I actually want to share is a 2-week lockdown challenge. I know it sounds a little bit cheesy, but let me kind of give you the idea of what the challenge is, and then a couple of reasons why I'm really excited about this, and I think it could be really cool. So here's the challenge. Once a day, stop and reflect on 2 questions. The 2 questions is, how has God been talking to me today? And 2, what has he been saying? How has God been talking to me today, and what has he been saying? And then the third part of this is, who then can I share this with? Who can I talk to about what God's been doing in my life? And here's 2 quick reasons why I think it's so important. More than anything else in my life, I want a sense of God's presence with me, especially in the seasons of lockdown. As I'm putting Noah to bed every night, we pray for our nan and pa, and we pray for his auntie and uncle. And the main thing that I keep coming back to and praying for them is they'll just have a really strong sense of God's presence with them. No matter what else is going on, to have that sense of God with us is just so precious. So I think that actually stopping and reflecting on that is such a good way to notice what is God actually doing. I think that we often miss him because we don't stop enough. So that's number 1. I think it's a beautiful way to stop and remember and reflect and actually engage with God in that way. And number 2 is connection. In this awful season of disconnect, there is a lot that's painful and a lot going on that's hard. And I think we need to be talking about that. I think it's good to be talking about, but it's also really good to be talking about good stuff, right? And I think the best thing that we can be sharing, and the thing that gets me so excited, is hearing all the different ways that God's meeting with different people, the different ways that God is interacting in our lives. So, if you're willing to, I would love to transform this Facebook page or this Facebook group into a place where every day people are sharing, this is how I met with God today. This is what God's been talking to me about. Maybe that's sharing a photo of a sunset. God spoke to me in this sunset today. Maybe he could have said all kinds of different things. Maybe it was just a moment to connect with God and admire how beautiful his creation is. Maybe you want to share a favorite Bible verse. I would love to hear that. Maybe it's something that your son or daughter shared with you this week. Maybe like Caro shared in communion this last week. Hearing that little thing from Kiara that just kind of sparked something bigger. Maybe that's how God's talking to you this week. And over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be sharing videos, hopefully fairly regularly, about different ways God's been talking to me as well. But I would genuinely be so excited to hear all the different wonderful, weird ways that God speaks to us all uniquely. And just for 2 weeks, I wonder if you would be willing to be brave enough and give us the time and your energy to put something together to share with everyone else on Facebook. I know that can be a scary thing, but hopefully we're not too intimidating. So here's the challenge one last time. Let me just say it one last time. How has God been talking to you lately? How has God been talking to you today? Every day to stop and reflect on, how has God spoke to me today? And what has he been saying? And then can you share that with someone? Cool. So that's my 2-week challenge, and I would really love it. It would be so exciting if some of you, all of you, would join in on that. I would just love to see this Facebook page transformed into a place where we're sharing what God's doing. Cool. Thanks, church.